It was May of 2020. The nightmare of COVID was really just beginning. People were dying, the economy was in free fall, and I'm sitting on a Zoom call being told that I'm being let go. Budget cuts. I was 56, had a daughter in college, I was a single parent, and I didn't have a plan B. Just total, complete shock. If you're over 50, just been laid off, and you're feeling lost right now, this video is for you. Here's what nobody tells you. As you're going through the shock of being laid off, you're also going to feel lost. You're going to feel like you don't know what to do next, or you don't know where you're going. And with that feeling, it's something that you may have already been experiencing all along, but being laid off just makes that feeling of lost more intense. Because you're hurting, your mind is going to try to get you out of the pain as quickly as possible. So it's going to tell you to go right back to what you were doing. It's going to tell you to find another job, basically the same job you just left, basically go back into the same career. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make. And I get it. I understand you got bills to pay. The pressure is real. I know firsthand. I know what that feels like. But I just want you to take a minute and think about another alternative. Just think about another option right now instead of just jumping back into to what makes you feel comfortable, just to get rid of that pain and just to get rid of that feeling of being lost. During this time, something that you're probably not thinking about, that you probably hadn't even considered. If you're over 50, it's very likely that you're going to get laid off again. Nobody knows when, but if you take another job because of your age, because of maybe your salary, because they can find somebody cheaper and younger to do your job, or it just might be you might be caught up in another cycle of downsizing, it's likely that you're going to get laid off again. So before you rush back into what's comfortable, before you rush back into what's familiar, I want you to think about something else. I know it's a painful time and it's difficult and it's challenging, but this might just be the opening, the breakthrough, the way out that you needed. In this video, I'm going to share with you why you feel lost, how you got to this point to begin with, and exactly how you can move forward. Before we talk about anything else, we need to talk about why you feel lost, because it's not what you think it is. Think about this. Your entire life, somebody has been telling you what to do. It started with your parents. Once you finished grew up and moved out, went to school and moved out, you were told at that point, you need to get a job. You need to buy a house. You need to get a car. You need to get married. You need to have kids. And after you got through with that, society steps in and says, or your employer steps in and says, I'm going to tell you when you can come to work. I'm going to tell you how many hours to work. I'm going to tell you when you can leave. I'm going to tell you when you can take vacation. I'm going to tell you when you can get sick, or basically how many sick days you can have. I'm going to tell you even when you can go to lunch every day. Your whole life has been a set of instructions handed to you by someone else. But inside of you, there's a voice. There's always been a voice. Your true self, your soul, that's always been talking to you. It's always told you about the happiness and the joy that you could experience if you would just listen to that voice. But you didn't. You didn't listen to that voice because you didn't trust that voice. So here's what feeling lost actually is. It's you becoming aware of that voice and listening to that voice. Maybe for the first time in your life. It's you doing what you want instead of doing what you've always been told. It's you in limbo. You're floating around as though you're in space. You're not connected to anything. And now, due to that voice, there's a conflict. It's a conflict between the life that you've always been living and the life that you actually want. It's like you're trying to serve two masters now. Feeling lost isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something's right with you. It's a sign that you're awake, that you're waking up. And in tip 3, I'm going to show you exactly how to get out of that limbo and start moving forward. But first, let's talk about how you got to feeling lost to begin with. So how did you end up here? How did you put in maybe 20, 30, maybe even 40 years into a career that you really didn't want to put that amount of time in? It's not weakness. is not failure. The answer is actually something pretty simple. If you were like me, every adult you saw, every adult you grew up around, family, friends, just adults in general, they all did the same thing. They worked a job or they had a career. You didn't see anything else. You didn't know anything else. It was like everybody was doing the same thing and it was normal. It was natural. And it almost made sense for you to do the exact same thing. And it didn't make any sense for you to do something different. And nobody told you there was another way. You didn't see another way and you never questioned it. And then society gave you this script: go to school, get good grades, get a job. And that's exactly what you did because in your mind, that's what you were supposed to do. But once you got that job, something else happened. You began to get comfortable. You began to kind of settle into a routine. You had a paycheck coming in now. And slowly but surely, that voice, your inner voice, the voice that's always been talking to you, you basically just totally ignored it. You just went on with your day to day, working, getting a paycheck, paying bills, working, getting a paycheck, paying bills. You totally went numb, blind, and deaf to any other alternative to the life that you were living. But you occasionally would see people out there and they would be happy, they would be or like content. It looked to you like they were doing something that was meaningful, that was fulfilling, that was purposeful. But you would look at them and you would think, oh, they're just lucky. They're just special. Maybe they just looked up and found something that they enjoy doing. But that's not for me. I can't do that. I don't have that. I don't have the luxury of doing that. And you felt like you didn't have the luxury of doing it because you had mortgage, you had a car payment, may have had kids, maybe you're trying to get kids through college. You just had debt overall. You just had financial obligations at this point. And with that level of responsibility, with that level of obligations to take care of yourself and your family, it would almost be irresponsible for you to just pivot and start doing something else. So you stayed because you were following the only map that you had ever been given. But here's the thing about that map: it was never your map, it was given to you. And now you have an opportunity to follow a different map, your own map. And if you need help moving from a life of living lost to a life of living with direction and meaning and purpose, click on the link in the description below. This might surprise you, but thank goodness for feeling lost because you couldn't find a life of meaning and direction and purpose without first feeling lost. When I finally started listening to my inner voice, my true self, my soul, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any roadmap. I didn't really know anything about where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do, but I do remember hearing something that Oprah Winfrey said. And she said she was at a point in her life where every day she woke up, she only did the things that she wanted to do. And I remember thinking to myself, that's what I want. That's what I want to do every day. I want to wake up every day only doing the things that I want to do, only doing the things that are interesting to me. So I stopped trying to figure out my entire life. I just started to think about the things that energized me, and I started to think about the things that exhausted me. I started to think about the things that I found very interesting, the things that I wanted to learn more about, the things that I could talk about for hours at a time, and things that didn't give me that same excitement, things that I didn't find interesting, things that I really didn't want to learn about. I pushed those things aside. And slowly, not all at once, I began to find a direction, not a plan, not a roadmap, just a direction. And when you're feeling lost, that's really all you need. You just need a direction. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop trying to figure out your entire life. Just figure out the next thing you want to do. Just be in this moment and just think about the next 6 months or the next year. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to think about the next 10 years or the next 15 or 20 or 30 years. You don't want to do that. Your job right now is to start listening. You want to listen to the things and observe the things that excite you. You want to observe the things that energize you. You want to lean into the things that no matter how many times you walk away from those things, or how many times you thought it was a bad idea, you always end up coming back to that thing. That's what you want to pursue now. That's what you want to pay attention to. Those aren't random feelings. Those are signals. You need to write them down. Don't edit them. Don't try to talk yourself out of them. Just write them down, because all of them are important. They'll all serve you, because inside that list is the life that you actually want. And here's the thing that I hear most people say at this particular stage. They'll say, "Oh, I don't know what I want to build," or "I don't know what I want to create." But check this out. You went through 4 years of college studying something that you did not know you want to study. You got out of school, you got a job or career doing something you didn't know that's what you wanted to do long term. You may have even married someone or dated someone for a long period of time, never knowing that where that was going to end or how that was going to turn out. You see, the truth is, knowing is an illusion. You don't really know anything. Your entire life is based on a set of what you believe, some beliefs. Because when you think about it, what's guaranteed? What do you know for certain? Nothing. You go into a situation or a relationship or anything based on your belief that it's going to turn out the way you want it to turn out. You're playing like an odds game. The odds are, you're thinking, you're believing that the odds are in your favor, that if I do this, I'll get this outcome. So instead of waiting to know what you want to do like you've always done. Go with what you believe. Go with what you have a genuine interest in. When I got laid off, I didn't know I wanted to self-publish. All I knew at that time was I wanted to create something that would generate another stream of income for me that ultimately would lead to maybe passive income. And I knew that I enjoyed writing, and I knew that I wanted to write my own books, and I knew I wanted to sell them. That's all that I knew. And based on that, I put a plan together. But initially, I didn't sit around and wait for something that I knew was going to turn out the way I wanted to. I didn't. I just believed that what I wanted, if I went through the self-publishing route, I believed that that was my route to get me to the life and to the thing that I ultimately wanted. And start with what you believe, just like you did in college, just like you did in your career. Because if something doesn't work out, think about all the time you started going down a path or started going down a road and it didn't turn out the way you wanted. You just pivoted. You know, in a relationship, you just break up with a person, or your marriage might end up in a divorce. If you had a job you didn't like, you just took another job. If there was a career path that you were on and you didn't find it either financially wasn't suiting you, or it just didn't fit you, you moved into another career. You have to remember, you're not a tree. If you're in a position you don't want to be in, you can move. And if you need help moving from living lost to living with direction, click on the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next video.